Hey you guys, hope you're having a good Saturday. Wanted to come on for a second because it is St. Patrick's Day and I wanted to wish y'all a happy St. Patrick's Day, but I want to talk a little bit about luck. I've been standing here for like 5 minutes trying to get my thoughts together of how I wanted to convey this to you. I'm not knocking the Irish or the tradition or anything like that. I'm sure there's something behind it all that I have not studied up on. But I want to convey something that is pervasive in our society, a thought process that we tend to have, myself included, is that our life and our circumstances, hey Johnny, are based on luck. That, you know, people will be like, well, I just want to hit the lottery. I wasn't lucky enough to be born into a healthy or wealthy family. I have bad luck because my family has diabetes, runs in the family, and so I'm just doomed to diabetes. There's so many things that we do in our lives where we have the pervasive attitude that things are based on luck, and perhaps there's something to that. But I want you to challenge yourself to create your own luck, and to kind of bring my point to how do I want to say it? How I want to make my point is I want to take you back to my former life before I got to where I am right now. I haven't always been this way. When I was born, I was born premature. I was a month premature. I weighed 3 pounds and 4 ounces. I was 3 months premature actually. I stayed in the hospital for a month. My mom couldn't afford to pay the bill to get me out of the hospital. My father was in the military and was overseas when I was born. When I was an infant, my parents made the decision to live their lives separately. I grew up with grandparents that hardly had any money, who never owned a credit card, who lived in a very small house, who drove the same truck my entire life. I had, growing up when I wanted to be in dance team in high school, I had to work to make my own money to pay for my own uniforms, while other members in the dance team got everything handed to them, that had the opportunity to travel across the world to Hong Kong when it wasn't in the cards for me. I earned my own way through college. I got scholarships for college based on my academic performance in high school. In college, I paid for my own braces. I walked into the doors of college with very crooked teeth, and I purposely chose a college that was close to home so I could use a tiny bit of that scholarship money to help me pay for braces for my teeth. My first car I had to buy myself. My mom put money towards it, but the majority of it I paid for. When I got out of college, things that you see that I have now are because me and my husband worked hard for it. Some people will look at me and they'll talk to me and they'll tell me, you know, they want to start the program that I do, and then they say that they can't afford it and that they're not lucky like me. There's nothing about luck that you see with me. Hey Christina, hey Mary. It's all about hard work. I created my luck. I created the reality that I'm in. I could sit in the world of being upset about how I started out my life, or I could turn it around and look at how that's made me stronger. I grew up with a mom who worked 2 jobs for a good part of my childhood. And I had to help make supper when I got home from school because she was usually at work. She would do her day job, she would come home briefly, and then she would go to her night job and wouldn't be home until it was past our bedtime when we were teenagers. That made me stronger, and she also demonstrated without words, just by her actions, that you get places by working hard, and that when you have to do it, you do it. Growing up with her as my primary support, I got to know my grandparents really well. They were like second parents to me. I had a family that has become, a family that were not related to us that took care of us when my mom wasn't there when we were really little. And one of them, Misty, is now my best friend. We met when we were infants. Her mom took care of me as an infant. So I knew her mom before she was actually born. When her mom was pregnant with her is when we first started staying with her, and then Misty was born. If I hadn't had the upbringing that I had, if I hadn't had the challenges that I have, maybe our families would have never met, and now we are like family to each other. In the goat showing world, I've had, there's a family that's in our community that every time they show goats, they win most shows. They enter multiple goats and they win showmanship, and they win almost every class that they enter. My kids have watched that, and while it's frustrating, I know you probably have had a similar situation with your children when you enter them in sports or the stock show world, my kids have responded in the past by like, they're so lucky, I wish that we could do that. And so I had to turn that around and say, perhaps they're lucky, but they've worked hard for it. You can see by how their goats behave in the ring. You can see the determination in their eyes. You can see that they are confident and they know what they're doing, and then they put the time in. So perhaps they're winning all of the shows because they've created their own luck for those shows. And when I kind of reiterated that to my kids, it changed their attitude, and they started working harder towards it, even though we still had a huge struggle this year. So let me know if this is coming through to y'all, because sometimes I get so passionate and get on a little rant, and then I lose my point. But I see it in healthcare too. I see it in the patients that I see every day, and oh my God, it's heartbreaking and so sad because of the population that I see every day. They're people that are usually on Medicare Advantage plans, and are older in the later stages of their life and have multiple illnesses and medical conditions, and so many of them are preventable. But the attitude that I always get is that I'm not lucky. My family has diabetes, and so I had a lady the other day who was like barely 60, but she looked like 80, and she was telling me about her brother who called her and was upset because he was diagnosed with diabetes, and she's like, that's in our family, bro. I mean, it is, and I'm okay, so you can do it. It wasn't an attitude about, let me see how I can make this better. It was just, diabetes runs in our family. Just get used to it. So I urge you to create your own luck in your life. What is it that you are unhappy about, and what can you change? Of course, life has forces that we can't control, but we have to make the best of what we can control, and move forward. So much of our lives are just, we have the pervasive attitude in society that we're just going to sit back and wait for luck to happen. I want to hit the lottery. I want some unknown money to show up for me. I hope that I'm healthy in my later years. All of those things you can change. You can work hard toward being healthy. You can work hard toward being financially free. There's so many different things that you can take control of and do. Myself and my own health journey, I have asthma, and I'm sure that is related to the fact that I was born 3 months premature. And I have very bad eyesight. Without my contacts, I cannot see very much. And funny side note to that is last night, I had an eye appointment the other day to get new contacts, and I left my glasses there to get new lenses put in, and I only wear my glasses at night. So I took my contacts out last night, but I don't have my glasses to put on because they're getting the new lenses. So last night I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm making my drink that I drink right before I go to bed to help my muscles repair. And I looked over at the back door, and there's like a figure there. It looked like a figure standing there looking at me, but my vision is so bad that I was like, is there someone standing there or not? And I had to get my husband to go look because it freaked me out so much. But that was just a side note. I could be upset about the fact that I have poor vision and asthma. I could let it stop me, which it did for the longest time, but I don't let it stop me anymore. I try to challenge myself. Another thing is I'm not, hey Shannon, I'm not built with a naturally slender body. So many people have high metabolisms and they don't have to worry too much about gaining weight. I'm not one of them, and I tend to gain weight in my hips and my butt and my thighs, and that has always driven me crazy. I've hated that about myself, and I have actually said, I wish I was one of those lucky girls that had slender legs. And I still find myself doing that self-deprecating self-talk regularly, and I have to build myself up to not do that. Now, as far as my weight and my thighs and my butt, I found a program that's working for me now. I haven't given up. My butt is lifting and my thighs are getting slender because I haven't given up, and I'm trusting a process and I'm pushing forward. So I encourage you to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but definitely don't wait on luck to determine the course of your life. You have to make decisions purposefully and try to push yourself forward, because the life is not all about luck. So don't want to rain on anybody's St. Patrick's Day parade, but I don't want you to sit on your life and wait for luck, because those are the people that I will see in my nurse practitioner job, unhappy, unhealthy, living with regret, and I don't want you to be one of those. So let me know if you've watched this and if this has like lit some type of fire in you. I'd love to help you more with your journey and talk to you more. I can't talk today. Talk to you more if there's something I can help you with. But y'all have a great Saturday. Talk to you soon.